Good morning, everyone. How you doing today? Nice to see you, and it's nice to be seen, of course, but old joke, I shouldn't do that anymore. So today, well, in Buddhism, which is why we're here, of course, we have the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path. I always like to state the obvious. And today, I'd like to talk about right speech from the Eightfold Path. And don't worry, this won't be a series. We'll just stick to the one. We won't be here all day. Now, I'm probably the last person to be talking about right speech, but I like to lead by bad example. So there we go. The Eightfold Path with the wheels, cool. First off, for the Eightfold Path, I know a lot of people don't like the word right. They think right is wrong. You can substitute words like with the word right with words like wise or proper or skillful. Now, I'm sticking with the word right because it's in our service books. I'm used to it, and I don't like change, so there you go. Like most people, I have a phone. I carry it with me everywhere, of course, and it's an Android, I guess, I don't know. I don't care. It works. It does pretty much everything that my home computer does, and I spend way too much time playing with it. But thanks to Google Maps, I don't get lost nearly as much as I used to. So, in fact, the reason why I originally got the phone was one time, a long time ago, I was down in San Diego. I was at the San Diego Zoo, and when I left, I went to get on the freeway, and the on-ramp was closed. So I found a big 4-lane street going like parallel to the freeway, and I thought, well, I'll just find an on-ramp that way. And I finally found an on-ramp, but I realized that I was about to enter Mexico. So I decided it was time to stop being so cheap and get like a real phone. So now, back about a year ago, you could ask Google a question on your phone, and you'd get like a quick little answer, and it was really nice. But now, thanks to AI, you ask a question on Google, and you get like a novel. Have you guys noticed that? Seriously, it's just like this big long thing. It's crazy. And I kind of worry now, though, with AI, because Reverend John, being a former computer programmer, I'm afraid he's going to replace me with AI. So, but I should be happy. A few years ago, he told me he was going to replace me with a chimp. So, remember that? All right. But the Google AI is kind of cool. So instead of sitting at the library poring over books, you can just talk into your phone. So let's see what modern technology has to say about something that was said 2,500 years ago. So right speech, according to Google AI, right speech involves avoiding 4 types of communication: false speech, slanderous speech, harsh speech, and idle chatter. This is why you never hear about Buddhist politicians. Thank you. It took a minute, but thank you. So there are 4 types of harmful speech, and remember, 4 wrongs do not make a right, whatever that means. And so first off, the first one, false speech, lying or misrepresenting the truth. We have to give false speech a bit of a pass because, again, if it were not for false speech, we would not have politicians. And we really need our politicians, right? In fact, there should be like a 9th add-on these days saying, do not discuss politics. Because no matter how smart you are, and no matter how right you are, there's somebody that's going to disagree with you and get mad. I'm sure you've noticed that. And this way, by not discussing politics, we can all stay friends, and Facebook will come to a crashing end. Hallelujah. By the way, for any kids that are here today, Facebook is social media for old people. So my niece told me that when she was 13. So aren't teenagers wonderful? We love you. All right, now since we're using modern technology, or as much as modern technology as I can muster up, we need to be careful of right speech on social media, like I was just saying, especially since it becomes permanent for everyone to see forever. And Now, I'm really good at forgetting that my sense of humor does not always do too well as a Facebook post. Another area to think before you speak. One time, a long time ago, I thought it would be amusing to post, my new goal in life is to not have a goal. And which is kind of cool. It's kind of a Buddhist thing, really. I just did it because I thought it was amusing. And I got all these comments like, a life without goals is an unfulfilled life. It's like, come on, people. It's just a little joke, you know? But the one I did that was really bad, and it was a long time ago, so I learned a big lesson. It was New Year's Eve, and I got home from a New Year's Eve party about 2 a.m. Always a good time to post, right? 2 a.m., yeah. And I posted that 2011 has come to an end. It is now 2012, another year for my pointless existence. Now, I thought it was kind of funny, but oh my gosh, I got all these emails and these private messages and comments about, are you okay? What's wrong? Talk to me. And I had to, go and apologize to everyone, and I felt really bad about it. So social media is really cool and really awful all at the same time. Okay, let's move on to number 2, slanderous or divisive speech. This involves speech that creates discord, turns people against each other, or causes divisions and disharmony. This takes all the fun out of life. Nah. But if you think about it, this really unfortunately sounds like the way things are right now. And I think maybe we can look at this as just as with what we say is, am I not just harming people, but what good am I actually getting out of what I'm saying? Do I really benefit from causing people harm? Is it really worth it? I think one of the nice things for me about getting older, one of the few nice things, is that I've lost my need to be right about everything all the time, well, most of the time. But so now, number 3, harsh speech. This refers to cruel, insulting, or abusive words intended to cause pain and suffering, and can include a biting tone. Now, I remember coming back a long time ago, coming across a Japanese proverb I really liked: think 3 times, speak once. Now, I really like that. It's awesome. But, of course, I have trouble just thinking once. Now, I find it interesting when people seem to have a need to speak their mind no matter what, and they'll say something really negative, and their excuse is, well, that's just the way I am. Well, you don't have to be that way. There's no newsflash. There's no law that says you have to be the same way your whole life. You don't have to be miserable and unhappy. You can choose to be happy. It's okay. I remember a long time ago reading that the Dalai Lama said, Dalai Lama book, it said that the goal of human beings is to be happy. Now, it seems like we spend a lot of time going against a pretty simple goal. All right, number 4, idle chatter, speaking without purpose or depth. Well, this is like my life story. So we're going to just skip idle chatter completely. So now we're going to switch gears from AI to Shakespeare. By the way, they did have color film back in those days of Shakespeare. So now I'm going to do a quote from Shakespeare, because what I found in life is that when you quote Shakespeare, you can trick people into thinking you're smart. So one of the things at my beloved Barnes & Noble bookstore, located at 1923 West Malvern Avenue, Fullerton, is when the teachers assign Shakespeare to the kids. Now, the girls are all excited about this. And the girls will come in, they'll come up to the counter, and they'll say, I need Romeo and Juliet by William Shakespeare. So thank you for clarifying the author. I appreciate that. So, although these days it could be by James Patterson. I didn't think anybody would get that. It's a nerdy bookseller joke, but I had to do it for myself. So thank you. Now the boys, they'll come in looking annoyed and confused, which I think is their natural state. And they'll say, I need Hamlet by Shakespeare, I guess. And I always want to say, how about instead Green Eggs and Hamlet by Seuss? But I never do. And so then I'll take them to the section and I'll say, okay, did your teacher tell you to get No Fear, Folgers, Barnes & Noble exclusive? Do you want to cheat and get Spark Notes? And now the girls, again, they always know exactly what they need, so that's fine. The boys panic and say, I don't know, I better ask my teacher. And they run off. So it's kind of fun. But finally, to get to my point, there's a part in Hamlet where he's talking to his friend and confidant Horatio and says, there are more things on heaven and earth, Horatio, that are dreamt of in your philosophy. Now, this is also the beginning of an Iron Maiden song, but we won't talk about that. Now, by the way, I'm practicing for Shakespeare in the Park, so thank you. I appreciate you. Now, in this case, the word philosophy suggests that the world has mysteries beyond human knowledge and reason. And I think we can bring the grandeur of this down to our human relation purpose for right speech. We may be giving what we think is right speech to others and discover it is not. It was not our intention to say something bad, and they may use right speech. They may not use right speech with us either, but that's purely coincidental. But as with what Hamlet said, we have not lived their lives, and they have not lived our lives. Even if we try to explain our feelings and our experiences to others, it'll probably never be fully comprehensible to them. And we all have our own truth, so we should always be able to give some understanding and some empathy to others. Now, if someone's speech is meant to be intentionally hurt us, we can look at it as, what did I do to them? Or we can say, wow, they must really be hurting. Both are really difficult to do. Good luck with that. But, I think the only person I know that can do that is Reverend Wonder, wherever she's at. Sorry, John, nothing personal. No, actually, John, too, of course. We love you, John. Now, a Shakespeare side note. There is an ongoing controversy that Shakespeare did not necessarily exist, and it was actually a pen name for someone else. Some possibilities are Christopher Marlowe or Sir Francis Bacon. Now, my personal scholarly studies prove without a shadow of a doubt that all of Shakespeare's plays and sonnets were written by Eugene, who's out here somewhere, I hope. There he is, way in the back. He's being modest. He knew I was going to say that. So, now, right speech gives us a chance to practice mindfulness and meditation. Once again, going back to the proverb, think 3 times, speak once. Now, I think it's human nature just to blurt things out, but I think our Buddhist practice gives us the ability to transcend our more primitive and natural tendencies. Now, in the beginning, I said that this was not going to be a series, but right speech does go along with right thought and right action. We're going to skip right action because you can only take so much of me, so we're going to skip that part. But I thought something on right thought is important. So I have a short article that I want to share with you all. This is a Lion's Roar article. Now, it's written by some guy named Reverend Harada. There he is. He's always watching. Reverend Harada has peepers. No, he's always watching over us. Something like that. We'll just skip that. So this is called The Eightfold Path, Right Thought. And the little heading here is, we can't control our thoughts, says Reverend Marvin Harada, but we can reflect on them, and doing that changes everything. So here we go. On the Eightfold Path, right thought, right speech, right action all go together and cannot be separated from each other. The most important is right thought, because as Buddhism teaches, everything starts from right thought. In a passage in the Dhammapada phrases it this way: with our minds, we make the world. Speak or act with kindness, and happiness will follow you as surely as a shadow follows a person that casts it. Now, thought is the starting point that leads to speech and conduct. An angry thought leads to angry words, which leads to angry actions. Haven't we all witnessed road rage while driving to work or to the store? A driver with angry thoughts shouts angry words at another driver, and in some cases, it goes on to do something crazy and aggressive with their car. Now, in contrast, acts of kindness are the result of a person who has a heart and mind of kindness, who expresses their thoughts with kind words. Remember when you were a kid and when you misbehaved and did something that your parents did not approve of, did you use the line, "Well, I didn't mean to," hoping that it might lead to a less severe scolding or reprimand? A Buddhist response might be, "No, you did mean to, because your conduct is rooted in your thought." To have an angry thought, "I was so mad I could have killed that guy," is, from a Buddhist viewpoint, a very serious matter. If you have that thought, then you have the potential to act on it. So in order to speak wisely, you need to address your thoughts. Now, most religions teach a sense of morality and ethics external to us that we should follow as rules of commandments. Don't do this, don't do that. But in Buddhism, we address our mind, our thoughts, the source of how we speak and act. The question that arises is how we think, how we can control our thoughts or eliminate negative thoughts. First, we have to realize that we cannot control our thoughts. The negative thoughts, first we have to, imagine if you went on a diet and your weakness was chocolate cake. If you keep telling yourself, "Don't think about chocolate cake, don't think about chocolate cake," you'll end up thinking about chocolate cake. So the important thing is to see the true nature of our thoughts. Our thoughts come and go like a flowing river. Good thoughts come and go. We cannot control and hold on to good thoughts any more than we can remove or stop having bad thoughts. But if we have been nurtured in the Dharma, we begin to see our thoughts as they flow through our mind. We can even begin to reflect on thoughts as they come and go. For example, we might question, "Why am I so angry about such and such? Why am I so upset?" Such reflection will inevitably lead to seeing ourselves and our evil-centered nature. And in time, such reflection will enable us to see beyond our ego-centered self, which will transcend it to our true self. Seeing ourselves is only possible because there is a mirror that is reflecting who we are. This mirror is our teachings. Deeper reflection leads to being less judgmental, and not only our thoughts, but also our life experiences. What we thought was a negative experience can be transformed into a great positive. Seeing a negative or ego-centered side of ourselves leads to insight, awakening, even humility. Seeing or realizing our arrogance is at the same time the unfolding of humility. This is only possible because of the light of the Dharma, the light of the teachings, illuminating our hearts and minds. Now, I really don't have anything to say about this because, hey, it's Reverend Harada. What can I say, right? But remember the proverb, think 3 times, speak once. And lastly, for all of you who know me fairly well, I hope you noticed that I made it all the way through without mentioning Disneyland. Please, thank you. Please join me in Gasho. Namo Buddha. Namo Buddha. Namo Buddha.